Did you know that while everyone was distracted by the political arguments on the news, a signature was put on a piece of paper in Washington that fundamentally changes the safety level for millions of immigrants living in the U.S. right now? For the last few years, we heard talk about defunding agencies or focusing only on violent criminals, but that era just ended. Congress has approved a massive spending bill, and hidden inside the fine print is a multi-billion-dollar check written directly to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. If you are sleeping peacefully thinking, I keep my head down, I'm safe, you need to wake up. This money isn't just for office supplies, it is specifically allocated for detention capacity. That means more beds, more flights, and more enforcement. But panic is not a strategy. Knowledge is. By the end of this video, I'm going to explain exactly what this budget buys them, who is on the target list, and later, I'll reveal the one specific piece of information, a digital footprint, that ICE is now funded to track, which most people completely ignore until it's too late. Let's get straight to the no-fluff reality check. Is this just a rumor scaring people on WhatsApp? No. Is this merely a proposal from one political party? No. This is signed law. Congress passed and President Biden signed a $1.2 trillion spending package. Here's the headline number you need to know. Funding for 41,500 detention beds. Why does that specific number matter? Because recently that number was much lower. The administration had asked to reduce it. Congress said no and instead mandated that ICE maintain the capacity to lock up 41,500 people at any given time. When the government pays for capacity, they are under pressure to use it. This signals a shift from catch and release back toward detain and deport. Before we break down the mechanics of this, I have a question for you. With the immigration courts backlogged by millions of cases, do you think billions of dollars should be spent on detention beds, or should it be spent on hiring more judges to speed up the process? I want to know what you think. Is this enforcement fair or inefficient? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's take a deep dive into the meat of this legislation because the devil is in the details. When we say funding boost, we aren't just talking about physical jails. We are talking about the Alternatives to Detention program. Think of it like this. Imagine a library. If the library is full, you can't let more people in. But what if the library creates a digital app so people can check out books from home? Suddenly, they can manage thousands more people without needing a bigger building. That is what ICE is doing. The budget includes massive funding for electronic monitoring, ankle monitors, phone tracking apps, and voice recognition check-ins. This allows them to monitor hundreds of thousands of immigrants who are not physically in jail, but are essentially in a digital prison. Now, listen closely because this is where many people make a mistake. They think, I have a work permit pending, or I have an asylum case, so ICE can't touch me. That is dangerous thinking. This funding allows ICE to clear their backlog of final orders of removal. If you have ever missed a court date, or if you had a judge order you deported 5 years ago and you never left, you are now the priority target for these resources. We also need to aggressively debunk some social media lies. You might see videos on TikTok claiming that ICE is going to go door to door in every neighborhood starting tomorrow like a movie scene. That is false. The USCIS and DHS guidelines still prioritize national security threats and public safety risks. However, and this is a big however, with more money comes more collateral arrests. This means if they go to a construction site looking for one specific person who is a criminal, but they find 5 other people who are undocumented, they now have the budget and the vans to process everyone. Previously, they might have looked the other way due to a lack of resources. That buffer is gone. Let's make this personal. I want to give you 3 specific scenarios so you can see if you are in the danger zone. Scenario number 1. You are on an F1 student visa. You might think this has nothing to do with you because you entered legally. But did you work more than 20 hours a week? Did you work off campus without authorization? With increased funding for data integration, ICE can match payroll records with visa status much faster. If you violate your visa terms, you become removable. Scenario number 2. You are waiting for a green card interview, perhaps through marriage. But you have a DUI, driving under the influence, on your record from last year. In the past, you might have been low priority. With 41 Mahasi 500 beds to fill, a recent criminal charge, even a misdemeanor, puts a target on your back during the waiting period. Scenario number 3, you are undocumented and have been living here for 10 years, paying taxes with no criminal record. You are the safest of the three groups, statistically, but the risk comes from digital surveillance. Remember that digital footprint I mentioned in the hook? This budget invests in AI and data sharing between local police and federal immigration. If you get pulled over for a broken taillight in a state that shares data, that local ticket is now a direct alert to an ICE field office that has the gas money to come get you. Immigration policies shift fast. One day it's an open border policy, the next day it's a crackdown. If you want to make sure you never miss a critical update that could affect your status or keep your family together, make sure you are subscribed to Immigration Path USA. We read the 1,000-page bill so you don't have to. So the budget is passed, the money is in the bank. What do you do today? You don't hide under the bed, you get prepared. Here are 3 actionable steps. First, do a warrant check. If you moved houses and never told the court, you might have missed a hearing. If you missed a hearing, you have a removal order in absentia. You need to know this before they knock. A lawyer can check this for you without alerting ICE. Second, carry a red card or know your rights script. If you are stopped, you have the right to remain silent. Most people get deported because they talk. They admit to not having papers because they are nervous. Memorize this. I choose to remain silent, and I want to speak to my lawyer. Third, and this is crucial, have a safety plan for your family. If the primary breadwinner is detained, who picks up the kids from school? Who has access to the bank account? Do you have a power of attorney signed? This isn't being paranoid, it's being a responsible parent in an uncertain time. Disclaimer: I am an analyst, not an attorney. This video is for informational purposes only. Every case is unique, and for legal advice, you must consult a qualified immigration lawyer. Congress has given ICE the fuel, and the engine is starting up. But while ICE is getting a boost, there is another agency that is actually increasing fees and making it harder to apply for legal status in the first place. You need to know about the new price tags on the American dream. Click this video right here to see how much your next application is going to cost you.